Here's the dark side of NoFap that no one talks about. This is gonna piss a lot of people off. NoFap might just be the very reason you're still stuck. If you clicked on this video, you've probably tried NoFap. You might have tried and relapsed over and over again, and you felt like a crap. You probably searched how to stop relapsing and watched a bunch of videos telling you to just keep going, stay busy, write in a journal, or use blockers. If that sounds familiar, then my brother, you're not alone. I've been there too. Look, you're not lazy, you're not even weak or deviant, you're just being taught to lose. In this video, I'm gonna show you why NoFap is the real trap, and I will break down exactly how this ideology twists your brain, sabotages your identity, and creates a toxic loop that's harder to escape than porn itself. And then I'll show you the actual way out. My title and thumbnail might told you something crazy, that NoFap itself might be making things worse, that you have been brainwashed, and I'm gonna rip that expectation apart. We'll be discussing why is NoFap actually dangerous, why does it make quitting porn harder, and what's the alternative that actually works. Let's jump into it. Remember the first time when you tried doing NoFap? You probably felt like a Superman by day 3, like nothing could stop you. But suddenly, boom, you were right back where you started, doing the same thing again. That's not you failing, that's the system failing. Let me explain. I still remember the first time I ever tried NoFap. I was literally searching for videos on YouTube on how to be attracted to women because I thought that I was the ugliest guy on earth. Yeah, and I just wanted to feel love. And then I suddenly came across NoFap and I thought, yeah man, I should get on this ASAP. And I got on it, but let me tell you something. It took me months, years to even quit in the first place. I've spoken to a lot of guys on the internet trying to quit for 5 years straight. Some of them even watching porn for decades. And it took me years to see this pattern. I realized, why is it that all my other bad habits like junk food, video games, binge watching Netflix, binge watching TikTok, staying in my bed all day long, why is it that all of this was so easy for me to overcome and I just left them behind and not even had any desire to come back? But with porn, it's different. You probably can relate. Then I realized that the overall framework that is being used in the recovery space is total crap. Now I will tell you why and also show you how you can detach yourself so hard that even the idea of relapse disgusts you. The first thing they tell you that porn has huge amount of dopamine, due to which you keep coming back to it because it's the only thing that can give you tons of dopamine. And then they try to justify it by saying that you watch more extreme genres and then more extreme genres and then more extreme genres. But here's the truth. If you understand a bit more about psychology behind dopamine, if you understand how dopamine works, you will realize that this is actually totally false. I know, but right now you're like, no Ahmed, but porn has so much dopamine. You're literally reproducing with so many women. But bro, listen, what dopamine actually is? It's the anticipation in order to get a specific reward, meaning that you're being motivated to get a reward. You get that rush of dopamine in order to get that reward. So for example, if I'm hungry and let's say there's beef in front of me, well, I'm gonna get a rush of dopamine so I can be motivated to go and eat that food and get a reward of satisfying my hunger. Or for example, if someone tells me just run 1 kilometer straight and you will get $1 million, I'm gonna get a rush of dopamine before I even run because I think, wow, I'm gonna get $1 million. I'm gonna be motivated to run. It's that simple. You don't get a rush of dopamine most of the time while you're watching porn. And if you take a break in between, you realize, but it's before you anticipated to get the reward. And what kind of reward? For most people, it's stress relief, pleasure, sexual relief. They think that they will feel euphoria. They think it makes them feel a form of intimacy. But that's your beliefs. It's because you believe you're gonna get those benefits, even though porn cannot give you that. And because of that, you release dopamine. And honestly, all you're doing is just engaging in this mental fantasy, the same way you daydream about having intercourse. And then NoFap comes in and tell you, no, but you're addicted to dopamine. No, it's just that you have been inflating the value in porn so high to the point where you really want to do it, and so you anticipate it. Second thing, NoFap makes you label yourself as an addict. They make you think that you are weak and deviant, and then every action you take tries to match that identity. Even when you win, you're still in this state of war. They literally tell you that you have an addiction, and now you start associating yourself to a person who is an addict, and now your actions are gonna align with your self-image. Here's what people don't realize, is that your brain becomes what you believe. If you think you are powerless, guess what? By all means, you will act powerless. For example, instead of thinking, oh, I shouldn't watch porn today, and then not really thinking much about it, it's like you see yourself as, oh no, but I have an addiction. It's gonna be hard. I might just scroll, and then you watch it, and then you feel shame, and then you say, I'm never gonna watch it again. And it's an endless self-fulfilling cycle. And for most people, being an addict is literally like people taking drugs, and then they go on the streets, and then they lose everything. As you can see, that's a very destructive self-image. You're not only taking actions aligned with that image, but you also now stop thinking rationally. This is what we did with video games, this is what we did with junk food that we left behind in just a few days. We just thought rationally. For example, like, okay, well, can junk food really give me the pleasure I'm looking for? Well, not really. Oh, but eating healthy though. So you start rationally thinking about those things. With video games, it was also the same. You realize that, okay, it's a waste of time. Let me just stop and instead work on that project. Or let me just start, or let me play video games in real life. Nothing was emotional. It was nothing of like, oh, I need to quit playing video games. You just thought how quitting can be beneficial for you and just chose to leave it behind and live your life and do something else. And we do this with every other habits that we move in and out of throughout life. Honestly, you might feel a bit uncomfortable at first, but that's totally normal. You will adapt to it very quickly. Humans always adapt to anything, even in the harshest conditions. For example, in the book Man's Search for Meanings, they talked about how these people were in the concentration camps in World War II and they were at their lowest of the lowest state. They were starving, they were cold, they were so skinny that they could only see their bones. They were fainting. Yet they adapted and found ways to be happy again, whether that was with getting back on their religion or finding happiness in the small things. Humans always find the answer if they want to find the answer. The DSM-5 official mental health diagnosis manual doesn't even list porn as an addiction. What it does say is that most people who think they are addicted are just reacting to shame or moral conflict. And in the Western society, it's like 90% of men that watches porn, and not everyone thinks they are addicted, and a lot of them just leave it behind, especially when they get into relationships. So never ever fall into this trap of thinking that you're diseased or this is something that's controlling you and it's gonna force you to go back, because then you just gave up basically. Another thing, NoFap is a business. Yes, you ever noticed how every NoFap channel needs you to relapse? How else do they keep you watching? It's a perfect funnel for them. Think about it. If everyone left porn, masturbation in just a few days, then no one would be in these NoFap communities or watching their content in the first place. That's why they need you to fail, and that's why their techniques don't work. NoFap also brings this toxic idea in your mind that you're constantly fighting something. Not only that you're fighting something which you're going to lose for years going on, they tell you that freedom is yes achievable but very rare, and so you feel like it's almost impossible to quit. Instead, what I found worked best with me and with my students is that I tell them to detach from all of this NoFap ideology and start detaching the value that they give to porn and masturbation, so that they don't even feel like they want to do those things anymore. The desire just vanishes. And after they have done that, I tell them, look, now go and live life on your own. You don't even need to worry about coming back to porn or masturbation, because you're not going to if you don't want to. And guess what? The success rate is literally above 90%. Now, before you go thinking this is a miracle cure, there's one more final piece to this: rewiring how you value your time and your identity. I break all of that down in this video right here, where I walk through the exact steps to get to the root cause so quitting porn becomes effortless. Anyways, see you soon. Peace.